Hi, welcome to the Child Pads demo. We're going to show you how a staff member would actually use Child Pads on a daily basis. 95% of the time, the staff will spend the time in rooms. In here, you will be assigned to a room. So if a staff member is assigned to the wobbler room, they will only see the day sheet for the wobbler room. And if they're assigned to more than one room, they will see each room down here. So simply each day they click into day sheet. When you click in the day sheet, what you'll find is a number of different options: attendance, food and medicine, activities, nappy changing, sleep, communication and observations. So in the morning, obviously they click into attendance. So there's a number of ways of doing this. Really, when you click in, you can actually just you'll see all the list of kids in your room or children in your room, and simply to mark a child in, obviously ignore the time now, but it'll mark the time there and then when you're actually doing it. So if you click in arrive, it'll capture the time as arrival and the time it is. Now, if it's obviously difficult, and many times it will be difficult where there's a lot of staff or a lot of, should I say, parents and children coming into the room, you can simply either select the all button here and unselect this child because they're already in, and use arrival here and put in your own time, or else maybe you just want to select maybe two kids that came in, but they came in, let's say, at 9:30 this morning. So you're simply clicking on them and hitting apply, and that way then it marks those two kids in for 9:30 this morning. When you want to actually mark a child maybe in as sick, you click on that button and go up here and you can say sick, absent, not due in, or on holidays. So again, when you mark the child as sick, the child stays greyed out, but you're marking them in actually as being sick in there, so they won't be accounted for in the rest of the options. So when we go back to day sheet, let's say we're finished obviously marking the children in, we want to give them their breakfast. So we click into food and medicine. So most of the times maybe they might have same snacks, same lunches, maybe different breakfasts, it depends. But just for this example, just to give you, we'll click in, select all the children, and we'll say that we gave them breakfast. So click in here and we'll look for, let's say, Weetabix. But maybe Hannah did not have Weetabix, okay, so we'll just hit apply. Once that's done, you're going to simply click on Hannah and say that she might have had cornflakes, okay. And once that's done, you're actually putting the tablet back down and obviously your attention is back with the children. Then, after the kids obviously have their breakfast, you can go in here, select all the kids. If all the kids ate all, that's brilliant, you just select ate all. But maybe some of them didn't eat all, so you can select ate all, hit apply. And if Ellen didn't eat all, maybe she might have only had half, you select Ellen and you obviously say that she only ate half. You hit apply. So what you'll notice really is that there's three things that we do each time, and you notice in each section. So if we go back to day sheet and go into activities, you do three things. You select the children, you select the option, and you hit apply. So again, a lot of the time you do group activities, and this is where Child Pads works really quick and smart for you. So instead of going into each notebook and into each day sheet over and over and over, you can simply, at a time that suits you, I suppose. It's very difficult. I know that you've so much time you're spending with the children, they're doing so much. When you get a minute to yourself, and do this in blocks. So not every time they do an activity, do it in blocks. So maybe at 10:30 if you get a chance, what did we do for the last 2 hours? Select all the kids, go into your options. You might have done animal and the noises, you might have done fun with water, you might have done Irish counting, and you might have done some painting. So again, you can imagine you're hitting apply and you're actually marking them all. So the tablet should be gone back down again, out of your hands, and you're back with the children. Back out of day sheet. Probably the next time you pick the tablet maybe up is either take a photograph possibly, or else if you wanted to actually go in back in and do some snacks, okay. So if we click back in there and we go back in and we say we're going to do some snacks. So again, majority of the time they might have the same snacks. Click in here, click on your snacks, click in your options that you will pop up for, and then you actually just go down to fruit and hit apply. Again, tablet out of your hand, shouldn't be using it anymore. Back out of day sheet, go in and let's say we were doing a nappy changing, you click in here and have a guess what you do. You select the child. You've got all these different options: wet, dry, soiled, soiled and loose, had to change clothes, soiled and loose, had to change clothes, bring in new change of clothes. So there's loads in here, okay. Bring in nappies, bring in wipes, potty trained. You guys can take away the ones you don't want to use and add in the one you do. So maybe you might say that you soiled and loose, and maybe you wanted them to bring in new change of clothes, and also with that I want to actually bring in some nappies. So we'll hit apply for Ellen. So again, it's really quickly. You can actually add in more of them options all into one sentence, so that way then you're only clicking in once. We go back out of there, we go into our sleeping. Just to give you an idea about sleeping, you're doing the same thing again. You're selecting a child, you're going in and selecting Ellen, and let's say Ellen was, and again, when you're doing this on a tablet, it's a lot easier than what we're doing here actually on a desktop. So started sleeping, and if you wanted to say she started sleeping at 10 past 10, you can hit that and hit apply. Obviously when you hit apply without the time, it tells you what time they've actually started sleeping at. So again, you're actually just marking the child that they've started sleeping, and then what you're doing is you're going in obviously and you're looking at Hannah, and maybe Hannah started sleeping as well then, and she was actually at 10:15. So again, what you're doing here is you're not waiting 10 minutes for Ellen, then another 10 minutes for Hannah. What you're doing is you're putting these into the same check, okay? So simply click on these two buttons and then go in here and you can click checked. Now, there is facilities that just use this and say checked, and then there's others that might have to add in that they slept on their back or they slept on the tummy. There's all these different options down here that you can say their temperature, their breathing, they're checked, and you can even put them all into one sentence: slept on left, slept on right, slept on left. But for now we're just going to hit checked, okay? And again, it's going to be very difficult for you to try and get this synchronized every 10 minutes, so you can manually put this in yourself. So if we say 10:20, so now both kids are checked at 10:20. So even though Hannah's only asleep 5 minutes, she's still being checked within that cycle. So it just means now that when you check here, that actually Hannah's checked there as well, okay? So again, when they finish, obviously you have different options there, like finish sleeping and so on, so you can just go in there. Click back to date sheet. Again, we'll go in here into our communication. So in here, I suppose this is really the quick wins, where you can send out, the owner manager can send out messages saying things like there's 2 cases of head lice in the facility, here are the symptoms. And basically what you can do with the tablets is you can talk into the tablets, and what it does is it types up exactly what you're saying. So corrects grammar issues, corrects different things like that, I suppose, where, you know, sometimes it's difficult, it's time consuming to type. Talk in, if you do it clear, slowly and concise, it's very good. And again, the quick wins for the staff is they could be using this maybe once a week to say what their team is of the week. It might have been around spring and what we're doing, and next week is going to be around something else. So again, it's about kind of communicating more about actually what you're doing each day, but also giving more of an insight into parents that they can actually engage and create that conversation with their own child. And again, when we talk about photographs, the tablet should be used as a camera, okay? So basically picking up the tablet and using it as a camera and putting it back down as soon as you get your picture, because what we say is you can upload 4 photos at a time. So when you're uploading 1 photo, we think it's a waste of time, because you're better off trying to upload 4. And if you're getting pictures really of a child where there are actually group of children doing different activities, take pictures of what they're learning, take pictures of what they're creating, take pictures of what they've put on the walls in terms of paintings and so on. So simply on the tablet you click on browse and you'll actually go in to take a photo there and then, or else you can actually choose them. So for here, this example, we'll pick 4 different photos, and let's say we just tick these 3 and we select all the kids here, okay? So if the 3 photographs came up, 1, 2, 3, and we select all the kids and then hit apply. So again, it's really quickly, you're hitting that's applied to all the different profiles there. So what happens there, when you actually upload the photographs, you'll see down below that these photographs will actually start to appear in front of the child's profile. So again, I'm pressing all these buttons. You're probably wondering where on earth is all this information going. All you need to do to get some information on the child is click on their profile. And what happens is that this pops up. The profile image will pop up here and it'll show you all their photos down the side. You'll see their gallery here and you'll see their observations, so their arrival, their breakfast, their snacks. And as this fills up, obviously you have their activities, their nappy change and the sleeping and so on, and all the different options down here. So again, what this is like it's populating throughout the day. So you'll start to see a really good insight into actually what happens each day through each of the children. So if we actually click back into our, click back in here, click back, and go back into our rooms. I just want to show you here where the next part is, right? This is the observations tool. This is actually where most people get excited. This was built in collaboration with the National Childhood Network and the Crohn Support Group, and their experience and knowledge has been a main contribution in terms of the success of this tool. Click into observations. When you go in here, you'll see a different list of different children. So obviously when you want to add an observation, you click on add observation. When you go in here, you've got 4 different steps, okay? Step 1, 2, 3, and 4. On the tablet, obviously, when you do everything on the tablet, it's a lot easier. So again, when you click in here, it'll actually ask you, do you want to take a photo or do you want to take it from the gallery? For this purposes, we'll just go straight into our gallery and we'll pick here and upload it, okay? Now, the next part is the type of observation. So what type of observation? Is it a physical, intellectual, a language, emotional, social, general, and a learning story? Just remember, these are all editable on the owner side, so you can change all these options, because obviously I'm fully aware we're moving away from piles, and this is why we've developed it this way. You can put in your own options, but for the time being, we'll use these. So we'll click on general observation. So the activity or the experience. So again, this is just a headline or a heading. So what is the child actually, what are they being observed doing? So let's say we said they were colouring. So again, simply click in colouring. The last 2 boxes here, which again you may or may not do, and just to highlight here, you do not need to fill in every single section in this observation, okay? None of it's mandatory. However, I can guarantee if you fill in all the areas, you'll get a really great insight and a really good observation at the end. So description. So what our colleagues over in the NCN and the Quam were saying is that sometimes it's difficult to take out some information from an observation, whereas you give little prompts, I suppose, to help the staff. And simply all you would do is describe what is happening. Click at the end here and you would either hit return and either type in or talk in. So you're saying something like, describe what's happening. She's colouring in the favourite colour or favourite, she's colouring her favourite pet. How does the child interact? She asks me what favourite pet is mine and what colour I like and so on. So again, you guys are the experts, you know. And then what does the child say? You can click on the speaker on the tablet and record, and it'll type up what the child is actually saying themselves. And then their interests, their skills, dispositions, and what decision the child makes, okay? So these are only here to help you. If you don't want to use them, get rid of them. They're only there as a prompt for you. What we do next is the same as how do we follow on. So again, you'll be probably very familiar with that. So again, type in or talk in. And it's only a matter of getting used to this. You need to do a few test ones and dummy ones to, I suppose, get over that barrier of actually talking into a tablet. Click on next step. So again, here, step 2 is the piles. So obviously we're aware Shieldte and Astra is going to be replacing piles, or is replacing it. However, there's a lot of facilities still using it. So you can still use it by clicking in here and obviously assigning whichever ones you want to use. Now if you're finished and you don't use piles anymore, there is an option in the owner settings that they can go in and disable piles, which means that disappears, okay? And all you'll have then is your Astra teams and your standards, your Shieldte standards. So when you want to add a team, you simply select add team. And when you go in here, you've got well-being, identity and belonging, communicating and exploring and thinking, okay? So for this example, we're just going to click on communicating. And when we hit next step, it shows you the 4 aims for communicating. And when you click on a name, it gives you the 6 goals for that aim. So you can select multiple aims and you can select multiple goals. And again, when we built this and we sent it out just to say it was going to be ready, we didn't tell anybody how to use it. We just said, can you give us your feedback and let us know what you think about it? And what owners and managers around the country are saying is that their staff are actually learning the Astra and Shieldte quicker through this and linking in. Because when you hit on next step, okay, you will only see the Shieldte standards that link to that communicating team you've selected. So there's no standard 1 or standard 3 and so on. They're only the ones that link to that team. So if you're not currently using Shieldte, you can obviously skip this, okay? Just hit finish over here. But if you are, it's an excellent way to get staff more familiar with the standards and the components. Because when you click on a standard, here's all your components. So again, for some that have to write all this out, it's done at a click of a button. And also then, which mainly for us as well, is the parents are starting to get more awareness of all these aims and goals and standards and components. And they'll start to realise that there's so much more involved in the child's day. Click on finish. It just gives you a little summary. So it's communicating, there's the aims, there's the goals, standards, components. If you'd like to edit this and you made a mistake, you can come in and edit it. If you'd like to delete it, you didn't want to use it, you can delete it. Or you can add in more teams and more standards. But for now, we're just going to move on to the next step, okay? So the next step is the child's strengths, the challenges, which is around the areas for development / resources, which means it's not to find something, a challenge in the child, it's more about how can you find something to help with the child, okay? And again, the plan with the child and the guardian is exactly what the parents need to find out in order to be able to help at home. So you'll see this staff member is set up, okay, that they're not allowed sharing observation with a parent, okay. And the reason why this is that all managers and owners can set up all their staff that they have to review and approve the observation. So basically when this is finished, it goes into a queue for their line manager to approve it, okay? Because if you did, the manager can then, after maybe weeks or months, say, no, we're happy for you to send these out to parents. They can enable you that you're allowed to share your observations, and another button will pop up underneath here saying can share with the guardian, and again it'll pop up under each box. So each of these you will decide obviously which you want to share with the parent. But for the strengths, can't see why you wouldn't share them. The challenges, obviously if there was anything very serious or you want to discuss anything, you wouldn't put it in here, you'd speak to them verbally. And then most importantly, the plan with the child and the guardian. Like, you guys are the experts. The parents like myself, we need to know what we need to do at home to help. And again, simply by communicating here, you can tell us what we need to do, okay? So that's step 3. Strengths, challenges, areas for development, and then the plan with the child and the guardian. Step 4, the final step, is private comments about the child. So you're simply putting in some information in here, okay, which may be about the child. You may have spotted something that maybe you want your manager to look at that. Again, you can type this in here and your manager can add their comments as well. And you'll see then is that there's a draft status set up here, okay. So simply all that this can be saved as is a draft, okay. And when you save this as a draft, okay, it'll basically go into a queue for your manager to review and approve, okay. So when we click in here, have a guess where your observations are. They're in your observations index, okay. And when you click on observations index, all your observations will pop up. So that's just only the first one we created there. So that's the only reason why that pops up. So for example, let's say this child, Megan, did have an issue with her coordination maybe, and you wanted to do a follow-up observation. All you would do the following month, the beauty about ChildPaths is you can link your observations together. So what it means is let's say you're doing an observation the following month and you wanted to do another observation. You go into your day sheet, you go down to your observations, and you go in and do another observation, okay. So we'll do Megan. And just for the purpose of this, I'm just going to skip through the observation just to show you what we're trying to do here. So when you come to the last observation, you'll see now that there's a related observation to this child. Okay, so if there was an issue with the coordination, or if there was something that you wanted to follow up on, or if an inspector wanted to say, well, there was an issue, what did you do? You can link them together, okay? And simply all you do to link an observation together is you can view it first to make sure it's the right one, and then you can select this button, okay? And what this does is it links the two of them together. So you simply hit create here, and what that's going to do is it's going to link your two observations together. So how we know this is by clicking into Megan here, okay? And if we want to go in and see her observations, we click on observations here. And what it does is it brings up both of these observations. So if I wanted to go in and see the progress, I suppose, or what's happened, I suppose, in the different observations, you would simply click in here, and you would obviously have your observation all done out, okay, and it'd be detailed out. But what you're saying is here, the child did have an issue with their coordination. However, this is the progress. And you can click on the I button and you can see the other observation which was done beforehand, okay? And it'll go through, I suppose, how she's developing and progressing. So that's not just once you can do that. You can do it over and over, and again, it's showing you all the aims and goals and so on. And down at the bottom, when you go into a detailed observation, it'll show you what the plan is with the guardian and everything else. So it's really, really detailed. It can be as much as you put in, but also, I suppose, the main thing on this is that you're seeing the child's progress and the child's development. So that's it. I hope you're excited by that. You can give us a call if you want on 01 554 5621, or else you can email us at info@childpaths.ie, and we can set up. What we look to do is we look to do a staff evening. If you've got more than 5 staff in your setting, we'll come down and do a staff evening free of charge to show them all the benefits of using ChildPaths and show them how easy it is to use. And we do one-on-one training in the setting as well. We also give you parent packs, we do performance reviews, so we're very hands-on. All you need to do is look around at all the customers around the country who are using ChildPaths and get their feedback on it. Thank you very much for taking the time to look at our demo today. Take care.